Shri Atul Singh, Srimati Vijaya Singh, Vijay Ghosh, my apologies. Eminent awardees in the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed extremely humbled to be in such august and eminent company. As someone who has no qualms of admitting that I am intellectually and artistically challenged, I often wonder as to what really am I doing in such creative company, people who've not only excelled themselves in their vocation and their profession, but most importantly have been able to set a million mutinies ablaze across the length and breadth of this land. It's indeed providential that this is the centenary year of Indian cinema. And the little that I have understood about cinema is that Indian cinema has not grown because of the government. It has grown despite the government. And that is why it's been my endeavor to try and ensure that events which celebrate the excellence of Indian cinema, the film festivals which are underwritten by the government, they exceedingly and overwhelmingly should start having a degree of greater ownership by the industry itself. We have this annual festival in Goa, and when I asked what my civil servants would have thought is a very dumb question, that why does government host a film festival? And so I was told that, well, one of our constitutional remits is that we need to patronize arts. So therefore, then I asked them, I said, but what is the level of involvement which the industry has in this entire exercise? And they said that, well, the industry is involved, but not to that extent. And I said, why? They said, well, the industry is extremely fragmented, so it cannot come together. So we provide the platform for everybody to come together. And honestly, to me, that sounded extremely absurd, and it sounded like an oxymoron. So therefore, what we've been trying to do is to try and ensure that increasingly, as we look towards the film festival this year, we successively hand over the ownership of that festival to the Indian film industry, whether it is Bollywood, or it's in Hyderabad, or it's in Chennai, or it's in Bengal, or it's in Assam, or it's in Punjab, or it's in other parts of the world, because I think that is the way forth that we should be going. But the one thing that I do understand, since I've been trained as a lawyer, that's been my profession, that's been my vocation, is the legal structures which, or the legal architecture which governs the industry. And as we speak, we've been trying to work to fix that. All of you are aware that we've constituted a committee to look into the entire gamut of the Cinematographic Act, which dates back to 1952 and requires a certain degree of updation. And the trigger for this exercise was the unfortunate controversy around Vishwarupam, whereby the Central Board of Film Certification, exercising the remit which they have under the union list in the 7th schedule, came to certain conclusions, and that the state government, for reasons which may perfectly be valid, came to a different conclusion altogether, and then we had a standoff. So therefore, we've been trying to see as to how we can reconcile these different imperatives. We can arrive at a situation whereby film producers having creatively put in their energy, film financiers having put in their money, then do not have to go from state capital to state capital, hat in hand, to see that their films need to be screened or can be screened. So, as we speak, we've constituted a committee under the former Chief Justice, Mr. Mudgal, to try and work out a modus vivendi on this. In Portugal or in some of the other exotic destinations around the world, it spurs an entire traffic of tourism from different parts of India. People would like to go and visit those places, and when we try and sort of do it in the reverse, the answer which is given is that it is extremely difficult to get permissions, and there is a huge amount of bureaucratic delay in getting permissions in order to shoot in India. So we are in the process, and I think hopefully today or tomorrow we would be in a position to notify it. We are setting up an Inter-Ministerial Committee with empowered representatives of the state government to see whether we can create a single window clearance structure for those foreign filmmakers who want to come and shoot in India. I am not saying it is going to be a panacea for all the problems which people may face, but yes, it is one small step in a set of initiatives that we are taking to see that we can make the environment a little more friendly in the 100th year of Indian cinema. Coming to the Limca Book of World Records, first of all, I would like to thank Atul and his entire team that you've decided to dedicate this particular book this year to the centenary of the Indian cinema. I think not only have you recognized the exponential reach of India's soft power, because if there is something which has taken Indian culture, the Indian arts, and India, to various parts of the world, whether it's Africa, Latin America, or Europe, it has been the power of Indian cinema. And there are stories ad nauseum. There are stories galore about even music stores in remote parts of the world which stock Indian cassettes, and there are a lot of connoisseurs who possibly may not understand the language, but are so taken in by the tunes, by the music, that they flock in large numbers to buy them. So I think you deserve our congratulations, for commemorating the centenary of Indian cinema, and all of us who've grown up with the Limca Book of World Records. It's been truly an inspiring experience to read it, to go through it, to really be inspired by the thousands of Indians who have excelled themselves, who have the passion, who have the zeal, who have the conviction, and who have the courage in order to pursue their dreams and be able to surmount them. And the fact that you document it all, document it every year, keep updating it constantly, put it out in the public space, I think is something which really requires appreciation and which really requires applause. But I often keep thinking to myself, since I'm also a practicing politician, and when I go around my constituency, we have what in Punjabi we call the darwaza, that is the entrance to the village, and invariably you will find people who will sit there, who will play cards, who will talk to each other, who will gossip about everything under the sun. And once during my campaign, I remember it was a hot May afternoon, and I stopped at one of these villages, was talking to these guys. So this guy was telling me an anecdote, and he was saying that there were two guys, one tells the other that my grandfather had such a huge stable that it extended from one corner of the earth to the other, and that's the number of horses he had. So the other guy says, well, my grandfather had a ladder which went from the earth to the sky. So this guy asks him, he says, but where did he put the ladder? He says, well, on top of your grandfather's table. So he says, that's a bit much. He says, then you reduce the size of the table, I'll reduce the size of the ladder. And the reason why I related this anecdote is because the kind of narrative which has been going on in this country, the claims, the counter-claims, the developmental credits, the empowerment credits which are being put forth. I do not want to use that expression, but we have a synonymous expression in Punjabi which is called Shaky Master. I don't want to use the word Feku, but I hope you don't have to add another award for the Feku of the Year in the Limca book of records, when you release it the next year. But be that as it may, that's on a lighter note. And congratulations and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.